We have a special treat for our listeners today. We are here with Sarah Beth, otherwise known as Yeli, the owner and, I guess, chief chocolatier
Yes.
of YeliBelly Chocolates with the motto, "Let's get chocolate wasted."
Thanks for tuning into the 2020 season of Cigars, Liquor, and More. As we join our buddies Bill
Howdy.
and our other brother Daryl
Smoke up, Johnny.
in the Backyard Speakeasy as they discover their thoughts on cigars, liquor, and anything else that comes to mind.
So you are a chocolatier.
I am a chocolatier by way of
Excellent.
being a dietitian first. I actually started out my career as a food scientist and dietitian and found my way to the dark side of chocolate about 14 years into my career.
How yummy.
It was a delicious change. I found people liked me a lot better when I came to the party with chocolate than when I showed up with kale, you know?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely
And probably
see that.
more antioxidants.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. People like me a lot better now that I tell them that chocolate is good to eat and
It
your,
is.
your dietitian tells you so.
I agree completely.
So you have your website, YeliBelly.com, YeliBelly.
Yes.
.com, and you have a storefront.
We
or
have a
just
production facility.
You have a production
Yes.
facility. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
that's all right. We used to have a traditional storefront where people could come in and pick a box of chocolate out of our display case, but we really got into doing more corporate gifts and weddings and then a lot of classes. And I thought, why are we babysitting a storefront and selling one box at a time to a retail client when my corporate client was buying 100 boxes at a time?
Makes sense.
So we closed our storefront and moved to a production facility, and now I don't have to put makeup on to go to work. So it's fantastic.
Nice. Okay.
You know, none of us do anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
Now, I did for you guys today and for your listeners and watchers. Well, not your listeners, but your watchers. But this is special just for you guys. I just
Okay.
want you to know.
I feel
appreciate
special.
that.
I
I
feel
do.
special. And we know you, specifically my wife knows you through belly dance.
Yes. I was a professional belly dancer for many years, and that's where the name YeliBelly comes from, actually. My first store that carried my chocolate way back in 2009 was the dance studio where I taught Egyptian belly dance at. And they wanted something for all of those moms with all that expendable income hanging out in the front of the dance studio. And they said, let's bring your chocolate in. But I didn't have a name for my chocolate company, and I didn't want to just call it Yeli's Chocolate. So they actually helped me come up with the name of YeliBelly. And our original tagline before Let's Get Chocolate Wasted was flavors that make your belly dance.
Nice.
Oh, I like that one
Yes,
too.
yes. But
That
it was
works.
all friends from the belly dance community and family that were buying my chocolate, so it made a lot of sense to them. But as my company grew and I stopped dancing professionally, people just didn't get the name and the motto. So I thought, we'll change it up, we'll work with it, we'll move a little bit more towards regular chocolate service and not just the belly dance
I like
world.
Let's Get Chocolate Wasted.
Yes.
Especially if you're going to start a whiskey angle. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've always loved putting any alcohol that we can into our chocolate and our ice cream. Definitely.
Let's see. And you have a master's degree,
I do.
right? In nutrition and food science.
I do. Yep. I mostly used to use it more than I use it now. I will admit.
You focused.
Yes, it's specifically
You
focused on
found a
chocolate
niche
now.
inside of the nutrition world.
Yes. And I used my degree for 14 years, so I can't say that it didn't do anything for me, but
go.
I do have a lot more fun with it now. But there is a lot of science in chocolate making, and especially when we start working with other ingredients like, different spirits, a science part of it takes over. So for me, it was a really nice transition to understand how these ingredients work together and understand things about how spirits are made that helped with my food science degree.
I just enjoy tasting it.
Yes.
He's a chemist by training.
Oh,
So.
very nice.
Yeah. And so I have a lot of questions you probably don't want to answer, so I may not ask.
That's okay. You can quiz me. I'll see if I have any of that knowledge of my days of chemistry in there still.
Okay, cool. So we found, of course we found you through Julia, his wife, and belly dancing, and
Who we also call tech support.
we also call tech support on occasion.
The most gorgeous tech support you guys could
There
actually
you go.
hire.
There you go. Hire?
Yeah, I know, what the heck?
She's like, I'm getting paid? What?
No, you're not. And to be fair, neither are we.
Exactly.
But you guys, so firstly, how many people? Is this just your business, or is this co-owned, or how's this?
I'm 100% the owner, but I do have staff. So I have
Okay.
a team that works with me. We have six staff members right now. Not that many. I should be able to count them all, right? We have my lead chocolatier and
They're
an
just
assistant.
so great, it feels like you have more.
I know it does, and maybe it's the different personalities. I'm counting all of those too, but no. So I have a lead chocolatier and an assistant chocolatier that are in our kitchen. We have an office manager and a wholesale manager too, and then we have seasonal staff that come in because we do get busy around fourth quarter. We get busy around Valentine's Day and
Right.
things like that. So we do have
Makes
some
sense.
additional staff that come in
May.
just to help out. Yeah.
Wedding season.
Yes. Well, not this year, but
Oh,
usually,
yeah.
usually every wedding season we're booked solid. So it's been a little slow, but we've made great transitions this year to keep up.
Are you shipping nationwide now?
We do. Being in Texas, we've gotten very good with shipping chocolate nationwide. So we know how to do it for
You
sure.
learn how to handle heat.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you can do that.
A lot of protection to it, but yeah, definitely. And, we can usually use just regular priority mail or FedEx. We don't have to overnight stuff, but it's all about the way that we pack it and insulate it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a question of mine because I do order stuff from Amazon a lot, and there's chocolate covered this and that there's no way I would consider ordering it in August.
I couldn't imagine they package correctly, though.
Shipping in August.
Yes. Yeah, it's not a problem for us, especially when it comes to our wholesalers. I mean, they buy all year round, and we can't say, I'm not going to ship you a case of chocolate right now when you want to buy it. So we make sure that we can ship all year round. And it's all about just using insulated cases and ice packs and things like that to make sure that when it leaves our kitchen, it arrives at your destination exactly looking the same and tasting as delicious and all of that.
Oh yeah, because they're super beautiful.
Thank
They-
you.
they
I
are
appreciate
beautiful.
that. Thank
And
you.
it's showcased on the website, so recommend going to the website and checking it out. And actually, I wanted to mention the first thing I noticed on the website is the logo.
Yes.
It's super cool. Like, now, of course, it's brown to remind you it's chocolatey, right? So it already feels chocolatey, but also it just somehow you infused creamy into the logo. The
With the-
logo
with the drip.
literally looks creamy.
Yep. The drip, and actually, we've had that logo for years. It was when we switched from the belly dancer-ish side of the company to making it more, general public. We switched and had this drip logo made, and I wanted something that had some action to it, that it wasn't just my name stagnant on a box. You know,
Right.
I wanted something more to it and fun. You know, our whole company is fun, and we
should be.
don't
It's
take
chocolate.
ourselves seriously at all. We make great chocolate, but we have a ton of fun doing it. I mean, it's hard to have a bad day making chocolate. And
I would hope.
I've had a lot of bad jobs in my career, but chocolate making is not one of them. And so
Excellent.
the logo has to be fun. The tagline has to be fun. I mean, a lot of what we do is very tongue in cheek. And I found that that's appreciated when people can understand what we're trying to do with our chocolate too.
And that brings me to my first thought about the chocolate itself, which is you put whiskey in it.
We do.
And that's why Cigars, Liquor, and More is talking about chocolate.
Yes.
Because put whiskey in it.
Yes. We have been playing with different spirits and chocolate for years. And our tagline for our company is Let's Get Chocolate Wasted, but it originally had nothing to do with alcohol. It was all just about the tagline came from the movie Grown Ups, and we loved it. But it's progressed on. We use a lot of different spirits in the chocolate, and I really started playing more with bourbon and scotch probably in just the past 2 or 3 years, and finding that there is not only a craft movement in that industry of going to smaller distilleries, making really interesting brands and expressions. but chocolate blends so well with it. And I was, someone who could enjoy a dram, but when I could introduce chocolate to it too, it brightened up the flavors of everything I was tasting. But I got frustrated because every time I would go to a store to pick up a bottle of something, they had this, am I allowed to swear?
Sure.
They had this shit chocolate for sale there. And as a chocolatier, it was maddening to me that I would spend, $50 or $100 on a bottle of fine bourbon or scotch, and they're telling me to pair it with a Hershey bar. And I was like,
Something
oh my gosh,
fancier.
like that's just that hurts. It's painful. And so we wanted to make sure that if we're going to actually pair with a good dram, of whatever nature it is, that we're going to put good chocolate with it. And we're not going to suggest someone go out and spend $1 on a chocolate bar if you're spending $100 on a bottle. Good chocolate, like good whiskey, you're going to have to pay for. But you're going to appreciate it in the end, that, you're not drinking bottom shelf, you're not eating bottom shelf chocolate then either.
Right. And when just like anything that you appreciate and you spend up for, I'm not giving my children one of these. They can eat the Snickers bar.
Now, I have a problem in my house is that my son has been brought up on my chocolate.
Yes.
So he is a tiny bit of an 8-year-old chocolate snob at that also.
Yes.
But he does, he'll eat what we call it peasant food. What we call bad chocolate is peasant food. He will eat peasant food, and I still let him live with us. But he does appreciate the good stuff too, which shows that if you're taught how to appreciate those flavors, any age can appreciate it. But if you've eaten Hershey bars all your life, you probably don't know what a good piece of chocolate tastes like.
True enough. And I've met the young man. He'll tell you.
Yes, yes. He is very protective of our brand. He's a very good steward, even at 8 years old. Yeah.
He will probably take over the company someday.
That would be nice. We'll see. My husband is a police officer and in the Navy. So to an 8-year-old boy, Dad's job is way cooler than mine.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see as he gets older.
Maybe if you just carried a gun.
Chocolate.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Hang on. I got stuff for you. We could practice that right now.
So you started out with a customer in Dalmore.
Yes.
So we've got a bottle of Dalmore that I was going to try with the
Definitely,
chocolate.
please do.
And
I actually have a little secret dram back here. I have an 18-year Dalmore. If anybody wants to throw that in a cup, I'll let you guys share it if you want.
Absolutely.
The Dalmore contacted me. Actually, their umbrella company here in the United States, White & McKay, contacted me and said, we heard that you guys do fantastic chocolate with spirits infused, and we're wanting a new way to share the Dalmore with our clients. And one way that we can do it is by actually infusing it into the chocolate. So we worked with their bottle of the 12-year, actually, and came up with a great infusion. And I'll actually show this up to the little camera, too. We are only one of 2 companies that are permitted to use the stag logo on our product. So we actually had to get clearance from the folks in Glasgow to be able to put the stag on chocolate for resale too. Now, we don't sell the Dalmore products just by itself. We will offer it for tastings and things like that, but as they are a private label client for us, we make chocolate for them to give to their clients.
So the chocolates that Dalmore is giving away are your chocolates.
Yes.
That's super cool.
It is very cool. Yes. It is very, very cool. And we are proud to work with them. They make a fantastic product and really not only just nice in the glass, but fantastic in the chocolate too. So we've done classes with them now where we bring folks together, right now virtually, of course, but we'll do 3 drams of different expressions of the Dalmore, and then we'll pair it up with different chocolates. And we had a great response from folks, and you've got one of our gift boxes there too. So we actually put this box together for the Dalmore, and inside And oh my gosh, you guys haven't even touched it. Oh, you're so well behaved. So
I've-
nice.
We ate the other things.
I've touched it, but it was waiting for you before we did
Fantastic.
anything with it. And
Well,
it's
we have
hard.
this. They gave a beautiful card for us to put the 3 drams on in your glasses, and then
Right.
of course our cards in here too. But what we did was we had 3 of their expressions in here. We had the 12, the 15, and the 18 year, and my love for them increases with age too. they're honestly they're all fabulous. But then we also took our chocolates that paired with each of the expressions, because each of them, although they're all Highland, they all have a different bite to them too. They have different flavors, a little bit more toffee, a little bit more spice. So we chose different chocolates to bring out those flavors. So when we pair, I want to complement the whiskey. I don't want to do something that's the opposite of it to
Right.
bring out flavor. If this is a spicy chocolate, I want a spicy drink to go with it. If this drink has toffee notes, I want my chocolate to have toffee notes then too. So it should be a beautiful complement to it.
So the contrast really doesn't work. You want to do.
I'm not a
Okay.
fan of the contrast. There are some folks out there that do a contrast, and they might have mint with one of their drams to bring out a different flavor, and it
Oh, that
works
would.
if you have the palate for it. But I found that a lot of the general public
No.
is not familiar with tasting chocolate. You know, they're maybe familiar with tasting their whiskey, but they're not trained yet on chocolate. And so if I can teach you how to complement, that's a little bit easier than having that contrast where your mouth just doesn't know what to do with all these flavors.
But you'll have 3.
Contrast is an advanced skill.
yes, I completely agree.
But you'll have 3 different chocolates for 3 different whiskeys.
Yes.
The only real difference is they're 3 different years.
Right. For the whiskeys, there are 3 different years, but for the chocolates, we will choose single origin chocolates. So that means chocolates where the beans all come from one specific region
Oh.
of the world.
Wow.
So we might have like a
Interesting.
Madagascar chocolate, we might have a Peruvian chocolate, or a chocolate from the Ivory Coast or Ghana. And those chocolates, because of the terroir, just like
Oh, very
wine or
winey.
whiskey.
There you go.
Yeah,
I know that word.
I'm learning. They all naturally have different flavors too. So I would love to teach you
Makes
guys
sense.
a little bit how to taste some fine chocolate.
Let's
here up
do
front.
it.
Absolutely.
All right, so
need
I-
to do that.
So I first, let me set this out of the way. We're going to teach you a little trick. So when you sample your whiskey and you nose it, you've learned the techniques for breathing in through your mouth, nose in the glass but mouth open. And what you're doing is you are training your tongue to work together with your nose.
Yes.
And what we find in a lot of chocolate tasting is people taste with their mouths and they don't realize your olfactory
big
senses or
time.
your nose have a big part in what your taste is. So I'm actually going to give you guys some jelly beans.
Alrighty.
Now, these are just regular jelly beans. They are not Harry Potter flavors. None of them are dirt or
Thank you.
anything like that.
Thank you.
They are all, I think these are even Starburst flavors. So I'm going to have you choose one of your jelly beans, any one you'd like. So that in one hand, I'm going to have you take your nose and clamp your nose shut with the other hand.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
So jelly bean in one hand,
Okay.
nose clamped shut in the other hand.
Okay.
Pop the jelly bean in your mouth, keep your nose closed, chew it up, breathe in and out through your mouth, and see if you can figure out what that flavor is.
Oh, there's got to be no way.
Now let your nose go and breathe in one time.
Great.
And see how fast you can tell what that flavor is.
Right.
It's all connecting your nose to your mouth. It's not your taste buds that are giving you flavor. It's the connection of the senses in the olfactory area with your taste buds. Now, you might get salty and sweet and umami and all of that in your mouth, but flavor is not coming until it actually hits back here and connects with your nose.
Yeah, I always get a toothpick for the umami. It just won't.
It just won't do it. But that's my first thing that I teach people is you have to use your nose and you have to be able to keep your mouth shut too, because that's another thing about tasting chocolate. First rule of tasting chocolate, you're not allowed to chew. You have to let the chocolate melt. The
Oh,
only way to
really?
find flavor,
Oh, yeah.
yes, I know.
No, I agree with many things.
Oh,
Well, but most people, if you eat a Hershey bar, how do you eat it? You tear off the wrapper and you nom 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 nom. You don't savor a Hershey bar. With good
No.
craft chocolate, you need to take a bite, but a bite is different than chewing. So you can take
Okay.
a bite, but you have to let it melt in your mouth. You have to let it sit
Okay.
on your tongue.
I can do
all right?
this.
I always did that kind of thing just because I wanted it to last longer. Like if you nom nom nom, 3 minutes later you're a bar down and you had 3 minutes of enjoyment. But if you let it melt in your mouth and just put one square in and then wait until the flavor's gone out of your mouth before you put the next square in.
Yes.
That bar could last an hour. I'd much rather, so that's why I do. That's why I do it.
I'm picking some specific chocolate I want you guys to try. So here's your first sample.
All right.
This is a 64% cacao chocolate, single origin from Madagascar.
How are you supposed to open these?
And it's labeled F because
In our tasting classes, we have
No,
about
they were
15 different chocolates that we use.
Oh, okay.
And instead of writing out
Oh,
64%
there's a bunch of them.
Madagascar on it.
there's 3 of them in here.
Yes. So the first thing you want to do is kind of just take a look at it, maybe a sniff.
There were
Do I
three,
need
huh?
to?
Okay. Yeah, I'm sniffing.
Here, I might have some extras if we need to.
That's okay.
If you've got
So
at
much
least one,
trouble.
you're
There's
good.
so much trouble, Bill.
I
He's
dropped
saving
them, I
it for
dropped them
later.
on-
There's
I
a
dropped them on
stash
the
under there for
floor,
later, I bet.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna step on it. And
I
put
might
it into
have
the
some
carpet
extras in
and
here. Let me
that's-
see if I
that's
have
fine.
another
Okay.
F in here for you. No, I might not. So
I'll
with
break,
this
I'll
chocolate,
break one in half. And,
with this chocolate, you're going to put it on your tongue, and you're going to move it around in your closed mouth. The chocolate's going to melt at body temperature. And the chocolate is going to start to elicit some flavor as you breathe in and out through your nose. So you have to breathe in and out through your nose, keeping your mouth shut. And one of the first things you might notice with this Madagascar chocolate is that it gives you a little bite on your jawline, makes your mouth water a little bit, and that's tart or acidity from the chocolate. This Madagascar chocolate is known for having a red berry flavor to it. So if you breathe in and out slowly, mostly more on the out, you're going to get a bit of red berry flavor from it, definitely a strong cacao flavor because it's, a 64% chocolate. So it's more than a little semi-sweet. And then
I'm not getting berries.
you're not getting berries. What are you getting?
no, me either.
Now,
got-
what-
I got-
now I
I
I'm
should
did
getting
get-
allergy shots.
You're now, I should say whatever flavors you get is not wrong. And I've been in a lot
Okay.
of tasting situations where someone is like, oh, it has to taste like this or it has to taste like that. And I'll be like, I just don't get that. And one of my favorites was a chocolate tasting class I was in where we were trying a Venezuelan chocolate. And I'll be honest, it wasn't my thing. I didn't like it. But the teacher came forward, the master taster, I should say, came and said, what flavors do you get out of this? And I said, it tastes like dirt. And because to me, it tasted like dirt. And he goes, earthy. We say
yes,
earthy.
earthy.
And I was like, oh,
Earthy.
sorry.
Yeah. Same thing in
it's
cigars.
earthy. But if it makes your brain think dirt, then it tastes like dirt. None
I've
of
said
these,
that about cigars.
yeah, some of these, but none of these I promised today taste like dirt. But whatever you do get out of it is okay.
All right.
We're gonna need to take a little break.
Okay.
And we will be right back.
Are you craving chocolate? Experience true decadence as YeliBelly chocolates melt into an explosion of flavor across your palate. YeliBelly makes an excellent corporate gift or wedding favor. Try some for yourself today. Use promo code CLM10 to elevate your chocolate experience at YeliBelly.com. That's YeliBelly.com. Join us and let's get chocolate wasted.
All right. And we're back.
Again.
So I was going to describe it as a very light fruity flavor that was kind of cranberry, but like a dried cranberry, like craisins,
Yes.
which I love, but it just tastes a little bit.
And all
You're
of those
crazy,
are
all
right.
right.
Yeah.
I love them.
All of those thoughts are right. And a lot of times a flavor will make you think of a word and it might be red berry, but you can't pick what red berry. It's
Right.
not strawberry, it's not raspberry, but it's red. Or a product might taste green and it doesn't taste grassy, but it just
NyQuil.
makes you think.
NyQuil
Yes.
tastes green.
Yes. Because that's not a real flavor. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I didn't understand what you meant by red berry.
The flavor?
I do now,
You
yes.
do now.
I
Well,
do now.
usually in our classes, we
Okay.
work up to those big flavors like that. That we'll start with a white a milk and then a light dark chocolate and work up
Well,
to those
I
single
thought maybe
origin
you were talking
flavors.
about something that was little round and was called a red berry.
Oh.
And I'm like, I've never
You need to
had
come
that.
to
I
class,
don't know what
Bill.
that tastes like.
We need to get you into class, that's for sure.
Apparently so. Yeah. That'll probably help my cigar tasting as well.
Oh, I
We
will
have
agree
had to
with
work on that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's hard to pick out too.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's not natural.
No,
Yeah.
there are some great groups that will help with that though. There is Industrial Cigar Company out of Frisco has a cigar
Yep.
newbies group, which is the longtime smokers and aficionados at ICC go into this cigar newbies group and will teach you how to get the smoke flavor, how to properly smoke your cigars and all of that kind of stuff. So they would, if you are wanting to get more flavor out, I'll totally name drop and say they're a client of ours too.
No, no.
So-
I see them often. They're
Yeah.
a really nice family-owned business.
They are.
They're really cool
Yeah,
folks.
we love doing gifts for them. We actually have a member appreciation event for their new private lounge we're doing soon.
Ah,
So
very nice.
We'll be doing gifts for them.
We should
that
make
I'm
it
very
out for that.
excited about.
There-
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Frisco's not that close to me, so
No.
it's not my home. But I do know of them. I've been once, and they're very nice.
Very nice. And yeah, they have a lot of knowledge. They are as passionate about cigars as I am about chocolate, as you guys are about cigars, liquor, and more. So they
In this
are-
case, chocolate is more.
Yes, yes, they are. They're just knowledgeable, and I love swapping our knowledge back and forth. And that's what started happening with working with the whiskey folks.
Yeah.
Both bourbon and Scotch. I go both ways, so I love both of them, and I know.
I know, right?
And I love the fact that there are people that have the palate to discern the flavor in a bottle and not just say, oh, I like bourbon. That's great. What kind of bourbon do you like? Oh, I like
What-
Scotch. What kind of Scotch do you
Right.
like?
Yeah.
Highland or Speyside or Lowland? Like, don't just say
Okay,
you
can
like
I answer
Scotch.
yes to all of those?
Well, if you know what they mean.
Yes,
Yes, if
mine-
you understand what they mean.
Mine's
yes.
not peaty.
Yeah.
That's my
Anything
first
but
requirement in,
peaty.
in any drink is
Yeah.
not peaty. That's my
Not
first
peaty.
requirement.
But I love PD too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he
It has its place. Now,
I'll give
I
you
will
that.
say I'm not one
yeah,
that
for
will
me, its place is at
Is
his
at my
house.
house.
But I love to be able to find something that we can pair with even the peatiest of the scotches.
Really?
Like, oh yeah.
That does seem like a challenge.
I love
It
that.
does.
I haven't
Yeah.
really found a cigar that pairs super well with a PD Scotch yet.
Okay.
Well, we have-
How about a peaty drink? How about a peaty whiskey?
Yeah.
Such as brimstone.
Oh, brimstone.
Brimstone.
Oh, I
Oh,
haven't
my
had
God.
that.
You've not had brimstone?
No.
That would be a challenge.
Balcones makes
Oh.
a bourbon. Is it technically a bourbon?
I
I
think
don't know
it's
if
a
it's
bourbon.
51%.
I think it's a bourbon.
But they make, and it is called brimstone because it tastes like a fire pit.
It tastes like
It
a campfire.
tastes
yeah.
like a campfire.
I have a
Yeah.
chocolate for that. I already know that. I have a chocolate for that. Well, a lot of Highland Scotch has a lot of smoky flavor to it naturally, and I think it comes from a lot of the peat. We have, actually, I have this one I want you guys to try. Open this bag carefully so it don't spray
Over the
everywhere.
table.
I
Over
want
the
you to
table.
smell into that bag before
Okay.
you even taste it. This, good segue. You didn't even know I was going there. This is a naturally smoky chocolate that is from
Oh.
Brazil. And I absolutely love this. It is a 65% cacao, naturally smoky.
Very smoky.
Yes. And there is nothing added to this chocolate. It is a
What?
3-ingredient chocolate. It
You're
is
kidding.
cacao, cocoa butter, and sugar. End of story.
This is due to the
Can
beans.
I put it in
This
my
is
mouth
due
now?
to the beans, yes. And the nice thing is it doesn't come out of the flavor profile smoky, but it goes great with
I was
the
just
smoky
wondering
dram. But it'll bring out a nice smoke out of your dram, but it won't be overpowering. And the nice thing about it is it has a sweetness to it. So if you have a really smoky bourbon or scotch, one that I like is Campfire from High West out in Utah. A
Okay.
very nice distillery, and they have their Campfire is a lot like that too, and it has this smoky flavor to it that I love this chocolate with because it evens it out. So it's not just about the smoke.
Comes
the
through.
chocolate brings the sweetness out of it too.
Comes
Yeah,
through
this
more.
is not sweet at all. In
Comes through
fact,
more. Well, it's a little sweet. Comes through more on the smoky. Comes through more on the taste for me than
Yeah.
it does on the smell.
actually, my description for this is dry.
It is dry. Yes,
Okay, that's a
yes.
thing.
Yeah.
It is dry.
I
Yeah.
didn't just make that up.
No, you are totally right. There's not a lot of sugar. There's a higher percent of cacao in it, but it's all from the beans coming off the tree. That's how they taste. Now, it's possible that those beans were grown in an orchard that was next door to a tobacco field. And that could be that the earthiness that was getting from their tobacco, those minerals that were in the land, were coming over to the cacao side and getting into the chocolate trees. And that's how it's naturally getting its smoky flavor, because there's nothing added to this chocolate. It is just as pure as how they make their scotches and bourbons with 3
Wow.
ingredients.
So you named a whole lot of beans before. So if you were going to give a 5-second summary on each bean, like Argentinian beans are this, and how would you describe each of these beans from these areas?
Some of them can vary, though, even by year. A drier year,
Oh,
a wetter
right, of
year, and
course.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I would say Madagascar beans in general tend to be very red berry, very tart and acidic, which are like that first chocolate you had. Venezuelan chocolate tends to be very green to me, very earthy also. Chocolate in Africa, so along the Ivory Coast, tends to have a really mild flavor to it that goes with a lot of different stuff. And like I can mix mint with it, where like that Madagascar chocolate you had, I can't mix mint with that. Like that red berry and that mint would never go together. But something from like Sao Tome, which is an island off of Africa that produces a lot of cacao, it's mild enough that even with their single origin stuff, you could mix a lot of flavors with it. So, but it does vary all around the world, I should say. That's not
Okay.
I wish there was one that I could say that this.
But those
bean
are some of
makes
the
that.
some of the descriptions of what they can, how diverse they can
Yes,
be. I like that.
definitely.
I didn't know that.
Well, and when we went
no,
into making our chocolate products to pair with bourbon and scotch, totally going to plug my products now.
Oh, yeah, do it, do it.
Absolutely, that's
So
what you're supposed
how do
to
I hold
do.
this up here correctly?
Yeah, probably around here.
Okay, so like I said, when we were shopping in places like Specs and Total Wine and all of that, what I found was we were buying beautiful bottles of Scotch and bourbon and paying $50 to $100 for something that is just a fantastic dram.
Right.
But the chocolate available to us were Hershey bars, or
Right.
there are nicer chocolates in that, but chocolates that were not made for bourbon and Scotch.
The best you could do would be like a Ghirardelli
Yes.
or something Swedish, or I don't
But
know.
even then, it's
Less
not
waxy.
it's not
Less
chosen
waxy, yeah.
to go with that with those drams, and that was frustrating to me because I didn't want
yeah.
to eat shitty chocolate with an expensive bottle of bourbon or whiskey. So we came up with
in agreement.
a product line called Chocolate Whiskey Discs.
Islands whiskey.
And they are
Interesting.
literally discs of chocolate, and I'll see if I can open it out without pissing off the microphone too much. So they are literally discs of chocolate that are made to pair with the 6 different regions of Scotland and
Oh, wow.
and a variety of bourbon. So we're not leaving all of our whiskey folks out there.
Okay.
So this one is specifically our island's whiskey, and so it's going to have a lot of diversity to it. It's going to bring out some of the smoky flavors and some of the salty flavors, but it also just is a nice smooth chocolate. But we have one of these for each of the regions where Scotch comes from, and to pair with bourbon in the same way.
Which is super cool.
Thank
I mean,
you.
tailored to specific regions.
And tell us how we should do this, mix this with the liquor.
So we use a technique called sip, melt, sip. And in our product itself, there's actually a card that comes with it that tells you how to do it, so you're
Okay.
not guessing. But you want to take a sip of your dram. You want that to wash over your mouth, get your flavor of your bourbon or Scotch. Then take 1 or 2 of the discs and let them melt on your tongue. And just as the melting is finishing, take another sip. And you're going to find that the chocolate will complement and bring out more of the flavor from your whiskey than if you just had the whiskey on its own.
So I did it wrong.
So I cheated and had a disc earlier when I first started pouring my Delmore.
And that's totally
and
fine.
it changed it really dramatically. And what's funny was it smoothed it out.
Yes.
It smoothed out this is the 12 I was having earlier.
Yes.
It smoothed it out, and it was, but here's the thing. It didn't taste like chocolate when I drank the Dalmore.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't taste the chocolate anymore. I just tasted the whiskey, but in a different way.
Yes.
Which was weird, because I expected to taste chocolate in the whiskey. But
Right.
the chocolate just went away.
But it's choosing single origin chocolates that naturally have those amazing flavors that pair with those regions and pair with those different bourbons. Because, if you grab, my clientele for this knows what's in their bourbon flavor. You know, they're not someone that's just grabbing a random bottle off the shelf. They're going to grab a bottle of bourbon and know they love this smoky bourbon. So they're going to be able to pair it with a chocolate that is also smoky to bring out a little bit of sweetness but tame the smoke flavor. And then same with the, you know, if you choose our Highlands line of the chocolate, you're going to grab a bottle of the Dalmore and you know that it's Highlands. You're going to grab our chocolate that is for the Highlands whiskey. And that's where the pairing is supposed to happen, because I want you to enjoy those flavors. I don't want you to take a Hershey bar just because it's got cacao and sugar in it and think that that's going to go together well.
And wax.
Yeah, and wax. No, but that's the goal, is to have a beautiful pairing that is bringing out more flavor of what your whiskey is. So I'm welcoming you guys to try more. I have a whole stash of chocolate, so whatever you guys want to try.
Okay. Well, we don't specifically. Okay, so this is
If
Islands.
you name me a dram you want to try, I've got chocolate. I brought a whole bunch of extra chocolate of different lines.
Well, there is. So you brought 3 samples that I've never had before. So
Jura.
I kind of wanted to try them because I've never had Jura.
So Jura is a delicious island scotch, and has
Then the
some
island chocolate sitting right there, so that's perfect.
very different flavors to them also.
Okay.
We've worked mostly with their, I didn't bring their 10-year with us.
Okay.
I brought a 7-year and an 18-year. I'm sorry, 7 wood and 18-year. I would suggest the 18-year just because, I don't know.
Who doesn't like 18 years?
Exactly. 18 years of anything.
Makes it
right?
legal.
Exactly. So I would suggest that.
Did you rinse?
I did.
Good.
Now, with this one, we could do the Madagascar chocolate again. You could do our Islands chocolate.
Oh, you have the other.
I want to do the
Either one of
Islands
those
chocolate.
actually pair nicely with it too. But if you want to go ahead and try this one, I totally recommend that also.
This is not the island chocolate.
No, that
What
one
is
was just a
this one?
sample box I gave you guys to play with and
Okay.
enjoy at home.
Okay. Yeah, well, I did this. I ate the chocolate
Oh, that's
like it was
okay.
like I was 10. Yeah, not your 10,
So,
but you know,
first
my
of all,
10.
not sharing.
And-
Second of all,
and-
chewing it.
Yeah, and I well, some melty, but yes, there was chewing involved, and I was drinking. I did 1 whiskey, 1 bourbon, and 1 rum.
Okay.
I didn't like it with the rum. I thought it just did weird things. The whiskey and the bourbon, I liked it with, though.
Good. Excellent.
So I got something out of it, even though I didn't do it properly.
Good. Good.
Do I
So
just pour
I've
this
never
in my
had-
glass?
Yeah, go
I've never had the
Okay.
Jura before, so I want to have it. You know, of course, before chocolate.
So Jura is a little bit of a stronger brand.
And if you listen to her instructions, you're supposed to.
Yes, you're supposed to have a sip first.
Yeah. But I have to comment to tell people what I think of it first. So it is smoky. It's not as smoky as I expected because you said it's smoky, and then I was like, okay, it's gonna be smoky, and then it's kind of a little smoky.
It is a little smoky.
So it's a little smoky, and it's really sweet.
Yeah. It's a nice line that a lot of people I don't think get into because it's not a brand that's on everybody's shelf either. And
No, I've never
especially
heard
when
of
it
it.
comes to the 18-year, you're definitely not walking into a random store and picking up a bottle of that. It's
not
just
at my gas station.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Well, it might be at your gas station.
Yeah, our gas station actually has a really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably
Yes.
because you guys are supporting them probably by
No,
yourselves.
they're just that's
Just
part of it.
about.
That's part of it. But they're also a liquor store that also happens to sell gas. That's,
Oh,
that's
well,
what
that
it
makes
really
sense.
seems like. They don't. But
Yeah,
no,
you drive by
right. Jura
and
is
the
probably not
parking
at
lot's-
every local place.
You,
No.
you drive
Okay.
by, the parking lot's full of cars. Nobody's getting gas.
No, they're all
Yeah.
inside shopping. Oh, I really like the
Okay.
Jura. The 7 wood from Jura that I have a sample of too, if you'd like to try, very complex. And that one, when we did a class with Jura, I honestly had a hard time pairing it because the 7 wood is actually aged in 7 different types of wood casks. So the flavors just kind of
Banana.
pile on top of each other. And it was really hard for me to discern. But the 18-year, so smooth. Like, that was just an easy one.
It's really good. It's smoky. I'm not all that into smoky, but it is really good.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the chocolate.
Chocolate. Try one of those in there.
Now, you got to talk while we
Okay.
do this stuff.
Make up
'cause-
some stuff.
Yeah.
So we enjoy doing these types of pairing classes together, bringing out different drams, working with different companies. We've done some classes with Beam Suntory So the owners of, Maker's Mark and Jim Beam, we actually did a Basil Hayden class with them. And for a lot of folks that have never been into Basil Hayden, that was a fantastic pairing. And we had 3 of their expressions, and they were all absolutely fantastic for the bourbon side. But we really want to show people how to enjoy this pairing and learn to taste your whiskey more. Don't just drink it. Get flavor out of it.
It really changed it.
Oh yeah.
It kind of weirded me out.
And you got to get used to it. But this is also meant to be your dram is for sipping. The chocolate is for melting. It's just you're supposed to just relax and enjoy it, and then it's not meant to
probably
be
thinking about it too
much. Don't think about it too much. Definitely enjoy it. But I love, coming up with chocolate whiskey discs was important to me, not only to provide a unique product to the whiskey industry, but for me personally, I really wanted something that tasted better than what was out there. And I didn't want to say this one chocolate goes with everything.
Right, because it
I
doesn't.
hate that. There is
know it's
not
not going
a
to.
bar of chocolate that's going to go with everything. So you have to be specific to regional flavors or styles of bourbon and things like that, and we wanted to be smart at our company about how we did that. We didn't want it to be generic. So you do
Very
have
good.
to think a little bit when you choose which of the expressions of our chocolate you're choosing to go with your drink. It's not just grab one off the shelf. It's meant to be a thought process. So what do you think?
And it is. For me, it seemed to take a little bit of the smoky out.
Okay.
And I got a little sour in with it as well.
And I got bitter.
Yeah.
It got more bitter for
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
And it's going to depend on what you like too. If you're not
Can I
in,
have another one?
yeah, it's going to have to be a dram that you're used to and that you like. If Jura is very new to you, then you have to get the
It
flavors
is.
of that
is.
first before you work on the pairings of it also.
Well,
Okay, so I'm gonna try that 7
The 7 wood?
I gotta know what 7. I've never had anything
Now,
that's
I
been
have
through
to look
7
and see what
barrels.
I paired the
I
7
gotta
wood
see what
with.
that's like.
The 7 wood, I think I had 2 different chocolates with it.
I'll catch up to that. I'm finishing this.
And I think we might have put that smoky one with the 7 wood. And I think we also put this one with the 7 wood because it was a little bit more mild.
B. Item B.
Item B.
Okay.
There's the 7 wood for you
This is-
also.
All right.
So
This looks darker.
this one is darker. Good eye. It is a 72%.
That's without
Yes.
glasses on too.
Yeah. This one is a 72% cacao.
I like that.
So
I
it's-
like it when it starts hitting 70.
It's going to be less sweet. So a lot of people don't know that the percentages on a bar, I'll say this while you guys are imbibing. So the percentages on a bar mean something. And probably 12 to 15 years ago, these percentages started showing up on bars of chocolate. When we were younger, you had white milk and dark. And maybe special dark if you had Hershey's. But you didn't have these percentages. But craft chocolate makers started making percentages of bars to change the flavor profile. And what that means is 60% of this bar of chocolate is just cacao. It's nibs. It's the dark, rawest form of chocolate. 40% of this bar means a space for sugar or extra cocoa butter, extra fat, or maybe even a little vanilla in it. So the higher that percentage, the more bittersweet it becomes because there's less room for sugar in it. But the lower the number, when you get into like milk chocolate at 50% is milk, which means we have 50% of that room for more sugar, more dairy, more vanilla then too. So it's going to be a sweeter chocolate. So this at 72% is going to take longer to melt. It's going to be less sweet and it's going to be more bitter.
well,
Okay.
the 7 wood is really interesting. I like it.
It's complicated.
It's complicated, but see, here's the thing. I'm not. So I do. I battle my allergies all the time. And you kind of have to punch me to get me to taste things. So that's why I like stronger flavors
Okay.
because they come through.
That makes sense.
This really came through. But here's what's funny. Just the act of smelling the chocolate, when I went back and nosed the 7 wood, all of a sudden it got smoky. It wasn't
Yeah.
smoky before.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it was smoky.
So it's pulling out probably that cask out. One of the 7 was more smoky than another, more charred on
Yeah.
the inside. So it pulled out more of those notes.
But I didn't taste it yet. I just smelled it.
You guys are so
Because it
well
clears
trained.
because it clears the. Well, that's the thing about coffee. I think it's about
Exactly.
coffee and chocolate, both great palate cleansers for both whiskeys and cigars. Because I use it for cigars too.
Yeah.
And they're both really great.
You know, it works for chocolate also. So if you're in between tasting chocolate or smelling, if you use the coffee beans
Right.
to clear your palate in general, coffee just in general, although it has such amazing odor, smell, taste,
Yeah.
flavor, it will clear out your palate.
Well, that's why they
oddly
put it
enough.
in the ultra.
Yes.
So between perfume testings, you smell the coffee,
Isn't
it
that
clears
weird
it out.
though?
So
That
it
it's
is.
something that is such a strong smell, but it cleans you out and cleans your palate for that next smell.
I think it
Funny how that
saturates
happens.
it. Is what it does.
Yeah, that's true too.
Reset. It's a big reset.
So are you trying the 7 wood also, Bill?
Yes, ma'am.
So this one is, 7 different casks that are then mixed together to produce the 7 wood. And I apologize to my Jura colleagues. I don't know the years on this one, but
Makes it a lot more woody.
yeah. So you're picking up some of the smokiness and woody too then. Yeah.
That's weird. Well, because when you first sip it, it was more or less kind of, I won't say bland, but it wasn't, full of flavors. With the chocolate, it's just pow.
And like I said, I had a hard time pairing this one with one chocolate because every chocolate I picked pulled out a different flavor from it. And so it could go with so many, different chocolates. It went with the Madagascar chocolate. It goes with a South American chocolate, a blend. It just had so many levels to it that every time I tried something, I'm like, well, this goes too. Well, this one works also. It was really hard for me to play with.
So after tasting the chocolate, instead of just smelling it, not only did it make it smokier, it almost added some peat. It was
Really?
weird. It almost got like
I didn't get peat.
campfire smoky.
Oh,
Like
nice.
really smoky. Like almost like a brimstone.
Yeah. Well, and the Peruvian chocolate that you're trying may be pulling some of that out too. Just the natural chocolate in general.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
It's
fabulous.
fun to play with this kind of stuff. And
It is.
I absolutely love people that can geek out on it with me and get it. And it's not just like, oh, this tastes like chocolate. Like, no. You don't taste the Dalmore and go, oh, it tastes like scotch. Like there's flavor.
There's
in
alcohol
there.
in this, right?
Yes, you find the flavor. And yeah, but I appreciate working with folks that can utilize their palate for more than McDonald's and can
Well, this
really
is
learn
fun.
how to
Like
get
it
flavor.
changes so many things.
Yes.
I usually used coffee and cocoa as a palate cleanser, not as an augmenter.
Right.
But this probably should change your mind on using it as an augmenter because it really
Yes.
changes stuff. I was going to actually start doing this with cigars
Yeah.
in the show, because we bought a lot of chocolates, and I'm like, we ought to start playing with this in the show.
Now, we've paired chocolate with cigars before, and
Yeah.
we've actually smoked some of our chocolate with cigars. So we took some house cigars from Industrial Cigar Company, and I have this little tiny smoker that looks like a bong, and it's not, Mom. It's a smoker. But
Water pipe.
yeah.
Water pipe.
Well, this one's electric and everything. It's so cool.
Ooh.
But yeah, oh no, it's very cool. So, but when I was smoking the chocolate, I had to do it outside of our production facility because too much smoke inside our production facility and our chocolate inside would absorb it.
Yeah.
So I was outside on our sidewalk with this glass dome
Giant bong.
with a bowl of ganache inside. I'm cutting up cigars and lighting them on fire. Then I'm pulling this fan with this long tube and feeding the tube inside the dome, sealing the chocolate in, and then kind of lifting it up every once in a while. And it was very sketchy looking. I'm sure for anyone that drove by the production facility, it looked very bad. But we were able to smoke the ganache. And so
If you
when
can find a
folks ate
satellite
some of our
image of
bonbons
this.
with their cigars, they got the cigar essence in the chocolate. And it wasn't just like, this tastes like tobacco. No, these cigar aficionados were able to say, oh, this is your house cigar, right? Like they got it in the chocolate. So I love doing that
Very
kind of
cool.
stuff and
Very
playing
cool.
with different things.
Very cool.
All right.
Okay.
That is cool. Well, you want to take a quick break?
Yeah, let's take
Reset.
another quick break. We'll be right back.
Are you craving chocolate? Experience true decadence as YeliBelly chocolates melt into an explosion of flavor across your palate. YeliBelly makes an excellent corporate gift or wedding favor. Try some for yourself today. Use promo code CLM10 to elevate your chocolate experience at YeliBelly.com. That's YeliBelly.com. Join us and let's get chocolate wasted.
Back from a quick break. All right. What are we up to next? What's
Do you guys want to try some of
This-
the chocolate infused with
Well,
the product?
before we do, I
Oh,
want you
okay.
to talk a moment about your
our coffee cup.
Cocacino?
yes.
So for something totally different. So this, I'm going to show it up to the camera there. This is Cocacino. So Cocacino is a product that we developed that will float on top of a cappuccino, a mocha, or a hot chocolate. So instead of stirring a syrup, an artificially flavored
It also
syrup,
goes directly on coffee.
it can.
Yeah.
It can go directly on your
Because
black
that's
coffee
how I
too.
do
Yeah.
it.
But what I found was, going to a coffee shop and people are pumping fake chocolate syrup into their drinks, and I thought that just is disgusting. Or they were,
would agree
putting
with that.
cocoa powder in there, which is just going to leave your
What?
drink
No.
grainy. It's
Yeah,
it's
no.
horrible. So we developed
You
something
don't want to
that
chew your
no,
coffee.
exactly. So I looked at something, and you've seen those spoons with chocolate on the end of it, and you can stir a spoon into your coffee, and that's acceptable, but it's boring, and it's not interesting to look at. So we actually developed this disc, and it's a Belgian disc of chocolate. It will float on top, and then it melts as you sip it. So instead of stirring the chocolate in, as you sip, the sip takes a little bit of chocolate off the bottom and infuses that into your sip of coffee. Plus, they're beautifully decorated.
Yes.
So
Oh,
we
they are
do
They are.
gorgeous.
we do corporate logos on them. We do monograms for weddings for people to give these as gifts, and then we just have really cool designs in and of itself. And I love playing with this. So
Oh,
it's a
they-
lot of
Is it
fun
like
for us.
airbrush? Like, how do you get that on there?
It's a screen printing with colored chocolate.
So it's colored chocolate? You screen print chocolate onto chocolate.
Put chocolate.
Oh,
it's
that's
an inception.
awesome.
Oh,
It's
that is
inception
cool.
chocolate on chocolate.
It
yeah.
is. It's like
Yeah, it's a screen printing process, but we could get really
That's
detailed.
awesome.
We can Pantone match colors. I mean, we get specific.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We
Oh,
have.
it looked like it. It looks the bomb.
Yes, we love
Oh, it's,
having interesting looking chocolate. And
All your patterns are gorgeous
Yeah.
and,
Thank
and
you.
intricate. The orange there is
Yeah.
just
So they may
completely
slide, but
intricate.
check those out. Those are pretty nice.
And with that screen
So there's
printing
the Dalmore,
process,
yeah, and
you
then
can get
all these.
really specific designs.
these.
Really tiny
you
bonbons can be covered with logos.
They're
and
very
things like
cool.
that.
And all the different
Very
ones,
cool.
all the different patterns in here are
That's
just.
actually a cacao pod on top.
Oh, is it?
No, this one here. Like
Oh.
the print is a cacao pod.
Oh.
That's actually what chocolate looks like before it becomes chocolate.
Oh, really?
That's a cacao pod growing on a
Oh,
tree
you put
there.
the picture of
the
the
picture
pods.
of chocolate made of chocolate
That's
on
awesome.
chocolate. So we'll put that up there too. That's Inception chocolate right there. But that
There
is
you
just
go,
it's
yeah.
a simple disc. We aerate
Picture
it
of chocolate in chocolate on chocolate.
to go on your coffee to make your coffee chocolate.
That's
But it's a
that's
great
triple C
natural way
right
to
there.
flavor your coffee, and I love
Oh,
it.
it's fabulous.
Yes.
So my first one I used, I set up the chocolate, the chocolate on the edge of the coffee cup, and because I was gonna have a cigar, I was gonna have that, and I was putting the whole thing up, and the coffee was so hot that even sitting on top of the cup, it just drooped over and hung, and it hung lightly. I'm like, wow, that is right on the cusp of wanting to melt. If just a little bit of steam coming up from the coffee makes it go.
I would have loved to have seen a picture of that.
I
That's
have
Oh,
the
very
picture.
he's
cool.
got a picture.
I have the
of it.
picture.
It's awesome.
That's the
very
picture.
cool.
It drooped as I took the picture, so I have that picture.
Oh, I love that. That is
Yeah.
very good. Absolutely love that.
So it's
We'll
that
make
close.
sure you get it.
Yes.
It's that close to melting point.
So if you have a frothed milk on top, like you do for a latte or a cappuccino, it will sit on top of that the entire time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it only melts a little bit as you sip it.
Okay.
So it stays until
Yeah,
the
mine
very
just
last
went
sip.
into the coffee.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
I
fine
didn't
too.
do that.
That's acceptable. We won't slap it onto your hand or anything.
Me, I do coffee black. I don't do all this other stuff. I do coffee black, so I just drop it on top, and it will melt.
Yes.
And
Instantly.
it mixes in. Is just wonderful.
Well, good. I appreciate that. It's a South
Even
American
with
blend
the
that we use.
bland coffee that I have.
You want the coffee that gives you an uppercut when you drink it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
For here, me and Dad, we do a more milder coffee, kind of
Okay.
mild to medium coffee. Yeah, coffee flavored
Coffee
coffee.
flavored coffee.
Flavored
But
coffee.
when I used to go into the office, I always used the punch in the face
Oh,
coffee.
yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. This.
I have a particular love for Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Oh yeah, yeah. That coffee will kick your ass. We've had some of that at our house too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Good.
my husband likes the coffee that chokes you out before you. Yeah. Oh. That stuff, like the spoon stands up in it and eats it. Eats a spoon. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
kind of coffee he drinks.
Yeah, you stir it a moment and you come back and you got little pits in the spoon.
Yes.
Yeah,
Then it's ready.
Perfect coffee right
Then
there.
it's ready.
That sounds acidic.
Excellent. What is this one right here? Looks like
So that one is a toasted Hawaiian coconut and white chocolate. So it kind of tastes like the Girl Scout cookie,
here,
the Samoa.
Hold that up to the camera over there.
So this one is one that's in most of our signature and our chocolate wasted
Okay.
collections. It's kind of a palate cleanser. It's just some toasted and some raw coconut mixed in a American style white chocolate. So it's very mild, but it tastes like a Samoa, like the Girl Scout cookie. And that's what it was meant to be, kind of like a mixer when we add all of these other dark chocolates in there. It's a really popular chocolate for us because it's nice and mild too. So most folks kind of find a good break in between some of the dark chocolate flavors. Oh yeah.
Okay, that was the only one I had concerns about because I couldn't identify.
So the other square ones, are they all the same?
No, they're all different flavors.
So what kind of variety do we
Look,
have?
look at the bottom of that.
So
Oh,
this-
that's right. I
this
forgot.
one-
I
now,
did that once,
the
and now
thing
I
is,
forgot.
once they're out of the box, I don't know. I know the Dalmore one is the Dalmore, but we change
that's-
our designs all the time.
Okay.
So I can
Oh,
kind
okay.
of guess this one is orange.
It is.
But it is.
That's the only one we know.
It's one that we change
one
the flavors
raspberry?
of. This one is likely Chambord, which is a black raspberry
Dude.
liqueur.
Yeah.
Likely. Like now, the other problem is we also have a habanero infused one, and I don't remember what design that is right now, to tell you the truth. And that one's a spicy chocolate.
Yeah, I can't do that. one.
But I do have this selection box here, which I'll hold up to the camera.
While Yeli's doing that,
This
Daryl,
one
give
is-
me
Oh,
isn't that
some more,
beautiful?
give me
That
some
one is
more.
all Dalmore in there. And
Some
we
of the
used
12.
the Dalmore
Oh, the 12?
18 with a beautiful Scottish flag on there too. So hopefully everybody
is
can see
nice.
that. Yeah. So those all have the
Oh,
Dalmore
look at
blended
that.
in
Yeah.
directly into the ganache.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And ganache is just a fancy French word for chocolate melted with cream.
Oh, I think you're right. I think that probably is Chambord.
Yeah.
Because
Raspberry?
it's raspberry.
Yes. The black raspberry liqueur, which is fantastic in chocolate.
It
We've
is.
also used framboise before. Framboise is great in it also. I just like Chambord. It's got a little bit more of a punch to it too.
So this is a hard chocolate shell, but then in the middle,
That's the ganache.
it's soft, very
Yes.
soft, and melts in your mouth.
And that's where
instantly.
we infuse the flavor. So that's where the chocolate shell is just a 57% South American cacao, but the center is where we're infusing the flavors, whether it's the Dalmore or the Jura or the Chambord. Goes right into the center of the chocolate.
Well, we've been trying to contain ourselves, so
You're
we've only
welcome,
had one or
Hansel.
two of them since we ordered them from you, because we wanted to have them here. So I hadn't had the Chambord one yet. So
You guys have behaved
yes,
so well.
we
Well,
try.
The boxes like these with the multi-pack.
Yeah, the little ones we ate. Those are
Oh,
gone.
okay.
We had like two
And
4
we
packs.
had some of these.
Yeah, and those.
Had some of these. But the rest of it, I wanted to wait until you were here. and then
Good.
Especially that sample box.
You guys are so well behaved.
One
Very
evening,
nice.
there was a white box that had 4 of the Dalmore labels.
Yes.
Yeah, and we went through most of those.
And that's usually what I'll do when we have stuff like that is I'm going to give you chocolates that you're going to eat now to hold you over to when we have the class then too. So those are all specifically the Dalmore in there.
That is super cool.
And
They're beautiful.
my lead
I love the
chocolatier
Dalmore
is the
ones.
one that's done the designs with the Scottish flag.
So how are the round ones different?
So the round ones are different in that they are painted, and I'll hold that up. So they're painted with a colored cocoa butter, colored chocolate too. But we paint the inside of the mold. Instead of laying a screen printing process on top, we're actually airbrushing the inside of the mold for that one.
And then it picks it up when it melts onto it. But it's the same
That's awesome.
ganache, it's the same hard chocolate on the outside. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
I just wondered
We
if
just
they were
like to
different.
play with different designs, and doing something like the Scottish flag on a scotch we thought was just way too easy. And my lead chocolatier, her family is from Scotland. Her dad was born and raised there, and so she has a certain love for all of Scotch too.
I bet
so
she does.
so having the ability to do the Scottish flag on there, we thought was really special too. So yeah, that's why we like to play with that kind of
I
stuff.
bet she sent some home.
Yes. I'm hoping that we have had some over there. I'm waiting for the Dalmore Jura to need us to come over for a meeting or
Yes.
something like that. I'm hoping for that call someday that like, hey, we need you in
We need
Glasgow.
you to
I'll be
come,
right there.
We'll
No
give you a
problem.
first class
They're like,
ticket.
nah, stay in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Send us the chocolate.
Just send us the chocolate. I know my place. I'm honestly, if they called now, I would don a hazmat suit and I would fly over there. Like whatever I needed to do, I would be at their beck and call. So I love working with these companies because they are passionate about their product, and we've just struck up this recent great relationship with Beam Suntory, and like I said, we've only played with Basil Hayden's and Maker's Mark and Jim Beam right now, but they have so many lines. Our next thing we're playing with them is a tequila and chocolate pairing.
Interesting.
Yes,
That makes sense.
Yeah, that is a new ball game for me. So I'm excited. But they have, their reps are well engaged and understand the flavors. And I said, you're going to have to teach me because tequila I haven't done since graduate school, and it was only like, shooting it.
Yeah.
It was make it go away as quickly as possible. I do not want to
Exactly.
taste this.
So I haven't had good tequila yet, but I know
understand
that
it's out there.
we're gonna put it together well, and I'm excited for that pairing too. I'm a little intimidated though because I didn't do well with tequila in graduate school. I'm surprised they gave me a master's degree. So yeah.
I heard from a stripper, you drink the tequila and then follow it with pineapple juice.
Oh.
Yeah.
That could have saved me a lot of headache.
Literally.
I think that's
Literally.
the actual idea. And your stomach.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I have the Dalmore 12. I have the Dalmore labeled.
Yes.
Oh, a good
Chocolate.
idea. I should do that.
How should I combine
Same, the
these
same
together?
type of thing. A sip, melt, sip is a great way to go. With the bonbon, though, with the Dalmore in it, you are going to want to take a bite and give a little bit of a chew because the hard shell
Yeah.
you have to
need to
break
get
down.
to the soft.
Yeah,
You
gotta
have to get to the soft center. Yes.
So the Chambord one actually made the Dalmore really dry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it didn't make it sweet like the first one did. So now I'm gonna see what the Dalmore does.
With the Dalmore in
because
it.
heck yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get chocolate wasted.
I am all for that.
Well, it's much darker.
And that one has the 18 in it, so it is a dark.
Really?
Yeah, so that's a darker
Wow.
scotch already. So it's going to make the chocolate a little bit darker too.
Just
We
kind
need
of
to pass
brightens.
them over to tech support. Please pass.
Oh,
them.
I have been.
You're
I have
dangling
been.
chocolate in front of her. Like, just watch
Well,
us
I've
from
been-
afar.
I've been handing it off.
I know this sounds funny, but the chocolate tastes like cake.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting like a cake feeling from it.
Very nice, though.
Yeah, it's like a birthday cake going on there.
Like the texture of it or the flavor of it?
No, it's like an icing. I mean, like
Oh, okay.
I'm getting like the
Like
birthday
a
cake
fudgy
icing.
flavor. Yeah.
Cool.
See,
Nicely
for me, it made the flavors already present in the 12 just pop.
Just pop more.
What made
Yeah.
the 12 even drier? No, it's super dry.
But
But you should get more of the flavors
But the
out
flavors
of it, too.
come
Oh yeah,
through a little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
it's very woody now.
Yep.
That's awesome.
This makes me
But
so
what I'm
happy.
That's
what
a
I'm,
great
what I'm
chocolate.
glad about no peat.
Yes. Yeah.
And,
The
and no
Dalmore,
smoking. No smoking.
The Dalmore is not really a
Oh,
peaty
no, not at
scotch.
all.
No,
It's
no.
so nice and
No.
smooth, nice and
No, these are
a
the
lot of-
scotches I can do.
Yeah, red fruity flavors, smooth, a little bit of salty in some of the drams, but
Although
yeah.
I do have to try something. Would tech support, would you be kind and go and get the Old Par?
Oh, okay.
I want to try
All
it
right,
with
so
the
what
Old
is this
Par.
one?
Old Par. It's a
English
yeah.
blended scotch.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Does it fall within, like, tell me some of the natural notes of it?
Oh.
Because then I can pick a chocolate for it.
I don't know. I'll let you know.
I know
when
it's
we
been
get
too
there.
long since we drank
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well, not just that,
but
but
it's
we
not-
do
it's-
a
it's not
different
peaty, and
one
that's my
twice a
primary.
week.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Oh, a blended scotch.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I've been around a long time. This is an old brand.
Yeah, it's an old label.
I kind of like the birthday cake feeling. I feel like I'm at a party.
All right.
Well, you
I'm
gotcha.
Yep. I still have to drive my happy ass
Very
home,
woody.
so-
Very woody and very dry now. It really did change it.
We got a pool we
Oh,
can throw.
Yeah, I gotta
into
remember.
wake
I gotta
up.
remember what this tastes like. Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
Ah, it's fruity.
I need to.
You need to hurry up.
I need
is
to
what
rinse.
You need to
I need
do,
to
huh?
rinse my palate a little bit. Sorry. I was just smelling it a little bit. We've had so many things though. It's really hard, but everything's still saturated. The palate's
Wow.
all over.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been around a while for a reason.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, here's the best part. It's cheap as dirt.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like a $22 bottle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 12-year, isn't it?
And yes, this is the 12-year. It is blended.
It's blended, but, you know,
it's
that
12-year.
doesn't make it dirty.
And the look of the bottle has a fabulous look to it. But there are people that I talk to that I hear it mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I've got one of those. How'd you get it? I
So it's
picked
not
it up off
readily
the
available,
shelf.
or-
It's not
No,
rare.
it's readily available everywhere I've been.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know.
Gosh, there are probably a few chocolates I would put with that. God, I mean, it's fruity, but
Fruity, a little
A
smoky.
little smoky.
it's got a little bit of salty to me also. I mean,
I could see that one. Yeah.
it's what. It's not Highland, is it? Because it's the region.
Oh no, it's
No.
it's Britain.
Oh, it's Britain. Okay.
Well, no, it's Scotch, but it's a British company,
Okay.
and it doesn't say where on the bottle.
It's kind of reminding me of the Highland flavors. A little bit smoky, a little bit salty, lots of red fruit, smooth, nice and smooth though. For a 12-year,
It is smooth.
I wouldn't have expected it to be that smooth. That's really nice.
And I'm pretty sure that's an under $30 bottle.
It is.
It's not
it is.
expensive at all.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's around the 22 range.
And it's been around. I'm trying to remember when we went over it in the cast.
tried that
It's a good
Okay.
100-year brand, isn't it? Something. It's been around.
It's been around a long
So
time.
I'm going to give you guys a 70%
Gee.
from Sao Tome. So this is an African island and one of the largest country producers of cacao in the world for a very small island too. This is a little bit drier, which it's still going to have obviously some sweetness because it's only 70%, but it's a balance.
It's got a lot of flavor to it.
It's got a lot of balance to it,
I
but
still
I
have to
think
cleanse.
I think it's got a nice little bit of fruit flavor that will come out with the Old Par too.
Okay. Let me smell this.
God, it's got a lot of flavor. Wow. I would expect like a $30 bottle to just be painful, you know? Like I wouldn't have expected it to be
You don't have to
nice.
have an expensive bottle to be good.
Well, but look at who our clients are. I mean,
Well, okay.
they're bringing us 18-year bottles
Yeah.
of Dalmore. I'm spoiled rotten, you know.
Yeah.
When the Dalmore calls and is like, "Here's a bottle," like, you know, when that's my introduction to Scotch, everything below that is like, peasant food.
Oh,
It's all right. That was
let's see. It
overreaching.
says the standard blend is the 12-year called Grand Ole Par,
Okay.
43% ABV. The 15-year blend is known as the Old Par, and the 18-year is known as the Old Par Superior. The Old Par Superior was launched in 1989 and is a blend in blended in small quantities in Scotland twice a year. Discontinued blends, Old Par Tribute and Old Par Elizabethan, later launched in 19. Okay, but it doesn't say where.
So it's distilled in Britain but bottled in Scotland, and that's how they can call it Scotch then.
Well, no, it's just a British company.
Oh,
They
okay,
do
okay.
everything
But they're
in
making
Scotland.
it in Scotland. Okay,
Right.
all right. But it doesn't give a region at all.
No, it's a little cloak and dagger.
Yeah.
I didn't find when we first did the review of it and pairing it with a cigar. I
Gilnora.
did have a hard time finding out what
Gilnora?
might have been blended into it.
It's spicy. You could probably put it with a spicy chocolate too, because it's got a kick to it. It's got a bit of a peppery flavor.
It's a strong flavor.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean like, it comes off as alcohol-y. Like it's
No.
not. It's not a
No,
burn. It's not
but
a burn.
It's got a lot of flavor to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's got a bite on the front end that goes away really quickly. That front bite is really strong. You probably could put a spicy chocolate with that too.
And chocolate makes it smokier. I'd be happy to make it spicier. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, just see how far you can go before you go, "Bleh, too much."
Oh, we have a habanero chocolate that is fantastic. It's got a 7-second delay on it.
7.
So when you
How
first
much fat did you have to put in that
No,
cocoa?
just Well, we
What?
have just natural cocoa butter in it, but when you bite it, it's so cool at first because people just go, "Oh, this isn't spicy," and then 7 seconds into the melt, they go,
Wham.
"Oh, like I told you." Just
I
wait a
can't
second.
see. I can't
Wait a
see.
second. But
Wait for it. Wait
once
for
it
it.
rinses out of your mouth, though, the fat takes the capsaicin with it,
Right.
and it doesn't stick
Okay.
around. So it doesn't stay in your mouth like a habanero and a salsa. It
Nice.
rinses out.
I
And so
might
it doesn't
appreciate
leave you
that.
burning,
Yeah.
which is just one of my favorite things. Now, we've played with scorpion peppers and devil's tongue peppers and
Oy,
Thai
oy, oy.
chilies and all of that kind of stuff. Scorpion peppers hurt. They
Yeah.
have a bit of a punch to them. But Thai chili peppers are fantastic. Wasabi is fantastic in it too. So yeah, we'll put a lot of stuff in chocolate.
So you've played with wasabi. Have you
Apparently
played
so.
with matcha at all?
I have. I'm just not a personal fan of matcha, and I think it makes the chocolate taste really dry.
Oh, yeah?
So it makes
Okay.
it. I don't think it brings out enough of the flavor for me
Okay.
to get past the dryness of it itself.
So I make a matcha ice cream, and I love it.
Yeah.
I was
But
wondering
there's
if you put it
so
in
much
chocolate.
more sugar in the ice
Sure.
cream than there is in the chocolate. That I think that's probably what helps it too.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff we've played with. Very few things don't work. I mean, the matcha works. I'm just not a personal
You're
fan
not- okay,
of the
okay.
dryness of it. But there's a lot of folks that do really well with it.
I'm going to switch gears
Yes,
for a
please.
moment.
Yep,
and
sure.
you have classes.
We do.
Chocolate classes.
I think we're gonna go do some.
Tell us about those.
So right now we're virtual. Usually we're doing classes in our production facility in Addison. So you can grab a group of
Which
your
must
own.
smell wonderful.
It does. It is not a bad place to hang out. But you can have your own private class or you can join one of our public classes. And with that, we have hands-on classes. So you actually, right now, you would get an ingredient box delivered to your door with everything that you need in it to do a chocolate class at home. And then you jump on Zoom with us and we teach you how to make truffles, French mendiants, bonbons, all sorts of melt-aways and things like that. And you do it at home. Now, when everything clears up, you can come back to our production facility and do it right next to all of our chocolatiers in the studio. We also do tasting classes. We have a world tour of chocolate where we teach you how to taste chocolates from around the world and why one from Madagascar tastes different than one from Venezuela and things like that. And then, of course, our pairing classes. So we'll pair with bourbon and scotch. Obviously, we have a tequila one coming up. And then we walk you through not only how to properly taste the spirit, but how to properly taste the chocolate too. So we always work with a specialist, whether it's the Dalmore single malt specialist or one of the representatives from Beam Suntory, but we have a specialist there who knows how to teach you how to taste those spirits and get the best flavor out of them, and then we teach you how to pair them
Nice.
together. So there's lots of ways to learn. We love delivering the boxes directly to people. So you can be at home, you could have your friends at home if you want, but our boxes of the ingredients for our hands-on classes are enough for the whole family to get together. So when it comes to the pairing classes, usually you want your own box, unless you're willing to share your dram with a spouse or a partner. But when it comes to our hands-on classes, it's enough for everybody in the house to get their hands on and make a whole lot of chocolate too. So we have a ton of fun, and we love to be able to see people on camera working hard and getting real serious faces as they're piping chocolate. It's a ton of fun for us to see, but it's a really unique way to have an activity that you can do at home that you generally can't do.
Yeah.
You don't have to go searching for all of the ingredients. We bring them directly to you.
That's cool. I really want to go there in person, though.
Yes.
But I guess that's really only possible for people in North Texas. So,
Yes, that's true. We've had chefs that have come to study
Or if
with
you're
us.
traveling, if you know you're going to be in North
If
Texas.
you're going to
That's
be
true.
in Dallas, in the Dallas
if you're doing
area.
a whirlwind tour in North Texas
That's
and your
right.
vacation, and you're like, I'm going to swing by Addison.
If you
should-
can find
you
us.
should.
Yes, if you
You
can
should.
find us on the map, you're welcome to. But the majority of our business right now is classes and corporate gifts. And then as we get more into fourth quarter, we'll be doing a lot more of the corporate gifts for the holidays. Hopefully, as weddings open back up, we'll get back into doing more weddings and things like that too. But for right now, I mean, we're holding on strong. Our team has made some great transitions from a lot of what we lost during COVID. We are really doing very well right now, and I'm very
Excellent.
proud of our team.
That's good news.
Very happy for
It's
you.
definitely not me. I am surrounded by greatness, and we sat down when COVID hit, and I said, we are going to be a solutions-oriented company. This is a problem. What is our solution for it? And so we went around the table, and everyone just started throwing out ideas. What do we have to work with that we can still sell? So we increased our wholesale, we increased our classes, we increased our direct-to-consumer sales, and that's what saved us. So we
Nice.
are in no way, shape, or whatever closing. All of our staff are gainfully employed, whether they
Awesome.
like it or not. And we
I'm
definitely
sure
look
they
forward
love
to
it, so
fourth
I mean-
quarter being a big hit for us this year too. So
Oh,
yeah.
it could be. They're like, not just a specialty chocolate, but they're a high-end chocolate to be a great. I mean, I get why corporate do it because they send out the fruit baskets that are, trying to impress everybody
Yeah.
over Christmas, and chocolates go right with that. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And they're in that category.
you.
They're like a Harry and David gift kind of thing.
Thank you.
That's
I appreciate
what I
that.
think.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But-
Especially if you knew how much I liked Harry and David.
yeah.
Yeah, he's,
Well, and we're
he's nuts
hoping
about
that
it.
folks, that our corporate clients come back to us this year, because reaching out to your stakeholders right now is so important. If you can't be with
Oh,
them in
yes.
person, let us
yes.
send them something that will remind them how much they mean to you.
Yes.
And I think that supporting a small business, supporting a local business is definitely, going to go a long way right now. So we hope you choose our chocolates over all of that other stuff that's out there.
These
I think it's an
chocolates
ezy
are
choice.
just above and beyond.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy choice.
And you
Yes.
only paid in chocolate to say that.
Yeah. Well, it could be, but we did purchase chocolates to
Yes.
try
Yeah.
before the interview, and I can tell you from personal experience, it's just great chocolate.
Thank you.
Now, I've never had fine chocolate,
Well, now you have.
so now I have,
Now you
and now
have.
I understand why some people are crazy about chocolate
Yes.
because, wow, when you get the good stuff, wow.
It makes a
It's-
difference.
It is.
It
It does make a
does.
difference.
It does.
Yes.
It makes a
Yeah.
difference.
Don't walk by C's or Godiva anymore and think that that's good chocolate.
Yeah,
You're
no,
going and
no.
Don't drop money in there.
No,
that's,
no.
That is not. That is peasant
No.
food.
YeliBelly.
Peasant
YeliBelly's
food with
way
a
to
gold
go.
ribbon on it is still peasant
Yeah,
food.
there you go.
But a pig
son
with
is
makeup
hilarious.
on is a prettier pig.
It's
It depends upon who did the makeup.
Depends who did the makeup. Okay, maybe true. Maybe true. It's probably just an app now.
Yeah, what was that app you were talking about? It was something.
Oh,
yeah.
Facetune.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Facetune.
Facetune.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can Facetune a pig.
Can't Facetune a chocolate. It's still going to taste like crap.
But not this chocolate.
No.
YeliBelly chocolate.
Oh yeah.
Thank
Best
you
way
so
to go.
much.
This has been phenomenal.
I've got another question.
Yes.
I don't know if you're able to talk about it or not.
Okay.
Shark Tank.
Yes.
Oh right.
Can you talk about that?
I can a little bit. So we auditioned for Shark Tank a bit ago, and we were moved on to a second level, and that's as much as I'm allowed to say right now because
Okay.
they are not doing any filming right now. So we are still in the running.
Oh.
And specifically, we took our Cococino. So I wasn't offering a percentage of YeliBelly as a whole. I love my company and I want to keep my hands on it. But we
Yeah.
did take them Cococino as a very unique product to offer them.
That
And
is.
we're still in the waiting process. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that we know they're not filming right now. So it's kind of like a Schrodinger's cat. Like we're in the running, but we're not sure if we're still in the running because they don't call you with bad news. They only call you with good news. So it's one of those things that you have to wait and see what happens with this season. But right now, the season itself is on hold.
Understand.
So, but believe me, if there is,
Still sounds very exciting.
it is very exciting, and it was exhilarating to audition for the producers when we did, and I'm very proud of our product. I think it is truly
You
unique.
should be.
And it should be in coffee shops all over the place and in
Yeah.
gift stores.
And it may be.
And I'm hoping
And
that it will. And I will remember the little people
If
when we
yes,
take over
yes,
the world with our
please,
chocolate. I will
please,
remember
please
where I
do.
started.
Please do.
I'm still Yeli from the block. I promise.
Well, if people are pumping fake chocolate and sprinkling chocolate into their coffee, that's crap. Do this.
Yes, I agree.
Do the
Cococino
Cococino.
is the way to go.
And if you
Yes.
can pay $5.50 for a coffee, it probably should have $5.50 of something in it.
Yeah, that's good. Yes, that's
Yeah.
good. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting this out now
Even
that we.
black coffee. It makes
Yeah, even
it's
black coffee.
good.
It's you don't have to add sugar. You know, the little bit of sugar
That's right.
that's in the Cococino naturally
Yeah.
is a good way to flavor your coffee too. So, but also a great gift. I mean, at $10 a tin,
Mm-hmm.
that's not so bad to buy for a friend or a family member or someone that you
Well,
don't.
and you go on your website again, YeliBelly.com,
YeliBelly.com.
and you can buy from there.
Yes.
You can shop from there.
Yes.
And everything is. I mean, for the little that you charge for this, the taste is just stupendous.
Well, thank you.
I didn't know what to expect because I'm not a big chocolate guy. I didn't know what to expect, and I was just blown away. I thought it was great.
Well, and you can shop from the website too. We'll ship nationwide. You can also pick up at our place in Addison. But we also have a list on our website of our retailers. So we have companies, flower shops, coffee shops,
Good.
gift shops that carry our chocolate.
Excellent.
The list is ever growing. My wholesale manager, Josh, is pounding the pavement right now. So
for him.
there are lists of where you can buy it around the Metroplex too. I don't have anyone in where we are up here in the McKinney Farmersville area. So if there's a shop around here that would like to carry some chocolate. But we also haven't fully launched our chocolate whiskey discs yet. We're hoping for a September 1 launch, and then hopefully Total Wine and Specs and every liquor store in between will
Oh,
be
yeah.
pounding our
I think they
doors down
will.
to get it.
I think they will.
We're hoping some of our smaller local package stores will be the first ones to carry it. So we have our displays ready. We're just waiting on some final packaging parts for it, and I'm excited to get out. So honestly, you guys are the first
Love the
group that
whiskey
we've
discs.
talked about with it. So
Love the
yes.
whiskey discs.
Awesome. Breaking news.
Yes, exactly. Breaking news.
You know what I would love to see? So you've got your own in your shop. The Total Wines have all those samplings and tastings that manufacturers come in and do a tasting and they talk and get into like a Total Wine tasting thing. That
Yes.
would be
Yeah.
awesome. I
Oh,
would
We would
sign
love
up for that in a
to.
heartbeat.
in a heartbeat. Yeah.
We would love to. I know
Yeah.
that they have stopped them right now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's
But
kind of
when it comes
upsetting.
back through, we are definitely hoping to work with some of our partners locally to, our Dollar Large or our Beam Suntory folks to get back in and help us do those tastings. But we love that
Absolutely.
kind of stuff.
I think it's gonna be
That's how
great.
you make new friends. Give them free chocolate.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Oh, yeah, all day long. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap
Yep.
it up. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I didn't realize how much chocolate can change the flavor of your drinks. I knew it did. I didn't realize that even different chocolates could change the flavor of different drinks so dramatically. It's amazing. You should totally try it.
I'm just blown away by the chocolate itself. The whiskey discs, I think, are just stupendous. I fully love them. The Dalmar, I think, tastes great. The whiskey, the Scotch itself, and then putting it with the chocolate is just mind blowing. What do you have to say?
I'm so honored that you guys asked me to come here and talk about what I love for the amount of time that we have. I can talk chocolate all day long. I love geeking out with people who can appreciate the flavors and things like that. And I truly appreciate you guys having me here because this is what I love, and I love to share it with people too, and get folks chocolate wasted.
Chocolate wasted.
Awesome.
I feel better.
Heck yeah. You just have no idea how much that chair squeaks when you do that, do you?
When you're